So next thing I want to kind of talk about is, what are some of the common challenges that you kind of brought them up through our conversation, but what are some common challenges that you see that facility managers are experiencing, and how do you guys help provide solutions?
The biggest common challenge is the change.
Okay.
We used to call it the retail. If you might have known, for the last few years, has been the retail apocalypse was everywhere.
Yep.
Well, actually, the retail apocalypse never happened. It was actually just an evolution of retail from one setting into another setting. Like you said, they're adding experiences, they're adding restaurants, they're adding all these different services and things that the consumers are demanding.
Yeah.
If you don't have somewhere when I come into your store, whether it's whatever store it might be, I'm here to be entertained, I'm here to eat. And oh, by the way, if I happen to find a shirt or a mower that I like, then I will stay and buy that.
Yep.
In the past, it was, we're going to stick everything in a big box, and if you want it, come get it.
Yep.
And the more you had in your box, the more you were going to sell. Well, now the millennials, who are now outnumbering the boomers still have more money. Nobody realizes that from one of those. But millennials are now outnumbering us, and they're going to drive that market. And you're either going to adapt or change, adapt or die is the way that it works, and we've seen that happen. And I think that is the single biggest challenge for facility managers. Is you've gone from, if you've been a facility manager, say, for the last 25 years.
Okay.
But your company was convinced, okay, this recipe worked in this location, we can take it over here in another city and duplicate it and put a box here, and it's exactly the same, and we'll tweak it, and what worked better here, we'll put over here. And they continually got that model better and better and better. But now all of a sudden, that model's been turned on its head. And they're saying, oh no, you're not going to build these 100,000 square foot stores anymore. Now we're going to build 20,000 square foot stores. Well, the FM, who's been managing these large stores for the last 25 years, now has an entirely new set of challenges that they've never had to deal with.
Yeah,
and
that makes complete sense.
That's where Connex comes in. The other thing I think you're going to see in just a quick kind of technical side, and that is energy management. You're going to see some huge changes in energy management. And one thing that we're pushing in our new 2020 trends report is microgrids. And a lot of people don't even know what a microgrid is.
Yeah, what is that?
What is that?
Sorry.
If you can imagine your neighborhood, and say you have 100 houses in your neighborhood.
Okay.
Of course, hooked into the power grid. And right now that grid's totally reliable and everything runs happy and nobody has any issues. So, but if that grid goes down, or as we all know about peak demands in our business, we know what that is. When you hit a peak demand, if you go above that, it's going to cost you thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars for the next year to pay that.
Yep.
So what some of the retailers have started to do, Buc-ee's is one, H-E-B is one, and an example is when the Hurricane Harvey hit down in the southern part of Texas, some of the only stores that was still on was Buc-ee and H-E-B because they ran on a microgrid. A microgrid is nothing other than a smaller grid where multiple units, multiple businesses are hooked together, and sometimes they go together and buy a common backup generator that will keep all those businesses up when the grid goes down.
Wow.
Or if you're coming into a peak time like we hit here in Dallas on Monday when the temperature was 105, if I have a store that's on a grid, I can literally go in there, and when the energy company notifies me that I'm going to hit you, if you go above a certain usage level at this time period, you're going to get hit, and it's going to cost you $15,000 next year for your demand charges. I can go in and literally at that point, I unplug from the grid, kick into my microgrid, my backup generator comes on, it runs for that 3 or 4 hours, to keep my stores or my healthcare system operating. And then when the peak demand drops back, the microgrid shuts down, you switch back to the regular grid, and it literally happens like that. Nobody even sees it blink.
Wow. That's interesting. I see the benefits of that. That's amazing.
But a lot of our members are involved in energy management. It's a huge cost. Between energy management, sustainability is the other thing, another big challenge a lot of our members are facing because of this new millennial generation. When it comes to making a decision about where am I going to buy something, whether it's healthcare, retail, or something like that, they may look at, okay, it's $15 over here, or it's $17 over here, but this company is sustainable.
Yep.
They use renewable energy, they recycle everything. I'm going to spend $2 more and I'm going to go over here. In the past, it was always driven by, I'll buy it at the $15 store because that's cheaper.
Yep.
That's changing, and that impacts our facility managers across the board because people are looking at that.
Yeah, and I see that, and I agree with that, because even my wife and I make decisions in those purchasing behaviors that you're talking about, which kind of leads me to like the next thing is you're talking about energy management, you're talking about all these other things that facility managers have to adapt. Obviously, people like myself, vendors, for CMI Mechanical and other providers, what do we need to do to try to win some opportunities to work with some of these facility managers?
Well, I think what you have to look at is from the supplier side, it's almost like it's reached on the consumer side. Consumers are, if you look at all the social media, in most of social media, somebody's not trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
They're trying to inform you about a product or about a service, or here's the ways you can do something better, or whether it's 6 ways to raise your kids or 5 ways to wash your car.
Yep.
But it just so happens that's brought to you by Home Depot or some company that sells books on childcare.
Yep.
At the end of it. So I think what a lot of our suppliers, it's always been, I go to a show, I meet somebody, I tell them all about our great products and all these types of things, and then they buy things from us. Well, that's the same philosophy that retail followed for decades. You put it in a store, somebody comes along, they need it, they buy it.
Yep.
Now that paradigm is shifted. Now you have younger retailers, millennial retailers, people who don't understand the whole FM business, but they want to know, who are you? Why do you do what you do? What can you teach me about what I have to do? And after you've taught me 4 or 5 things that'll help me do my business better, then I'll think about buying your AC system, or think about buying your cleaning services, or think about, using you to replace my lighting system. If you tell me 15 ways that changing a lighting system can help me reduce my costs and save the environment, and another one's over here saying, well, I got the same light bulbs for $5 less, you're probably going to talk to the person who's trying to educate you on how to run your business better rather than just sell you a light bulb.
It's all about adding value.
Exactly. So it's education, and that's where Connex, we also have a huge education push.
Yep.
We're trying to educate our members, but some of the suppliers are now getting more into the educational mode, so that their customers call them and say, hey, I got a question about this. Can you explain that? And it's not about your product. It's maybe something totally unrelated. Like, you may be trying to sell me lights, but you're in talking to me, and I say something about, my real problem is my AC system. This is just eating my lunch. I can't afford your lights until I can figure out how to get this electric bill down.
Yep. No, it makes complete sense.
Yeah, if you're a smart supplier, you won't give them the sermon about how LEDs reduces, energy usage by 75%. They probably already know that. You'll say, hey, I have 3 other suppliers that are members of Connex as well. They sell HV and energy management systems. I think if you could talk to them, I think they would really be able to help you with that. And once you get past that, then you and I can talk about the lights. That's the approach and the shift we're going to have to see on the supplier side to get them to make that shift.
It's interesting you bring that up, because that's something that I've actually started instilling here at CMI Mechanical is creating content essentially that is valuable to everybody, even if it reveals our secrets and whatever, because in reality they're not secrets. What it is it's just a way of adding more value. And when people see that you're putting out good information about XYZ, they're going to start building trust. And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed, is that if you can have trust, then people are willing to spend money on you, even if it's a little bit more expensive, because they trust you. You're adding something that's going to benefit them, all that stuff. And I'm the same way as a consumer as well, too. So I definitely see what you're saying about how us vendors can start earning more business from some of these facility managers,
And I think another thing suppliers need to pay attention to is there's a huge shift going in the communications world from, you no longer walk up and hand me a brochure.
Yes.
You tweet me something, or you send me something in Facebook, or you send me something on LinkedIn, and the real our most active and engaged and successful suppliers are extremely active on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And they're not just promoting products. They're out there saying, hey, look at this, this Habitat for Humanity house that we helped rebuild.
Yep.
Hey, look at this project that we did that saved, $4 million. And it's not all a sales pitch. It's all about the different things they're doing to make the world better, at the same time selling their products.
Exactly. I love that you're saying that. And I'm glad that you realize that as well, too, because I see that, and I'm actually not even from the trades. I never grew up in the trades or anything like that, but I have a different approach when it comes to marketing and sales, and you see that, and that's amazing, because I do believe that's the shift that we have to start adapting to as a vendor, you know. So, you know, I want to wrap this up a little bit, and I want you to kind of talk about how facility managers can join Connex, and, you know, how vendors can join Connex, and kind of some of the benefits. I know you've kind of talked about it, you know, the benefits of being part of your organization. And then at the end, I want you to also, if you're okay with it, kind of give a little plug on your nonprofit, which I think is amazing that you guys are doing, and an opportunity for people to get involved, not just part of the organization, but to also give back to the community, which is huge. You know, so how can we join Connex?
Okay, joining Connex is really pretty simple. You can go to our website. It's connexfm.com.
Okay.
And there's places on there you can join. You can contact our membership department, who has links on there, and you can find all of us on that website as far as emailing us and contacting us and things like that. So it's fairly easy to join. And what I'd like to say is, beyond that, if you really want to get the benefits out of Connex, you have to engage. Our most successful members are the ones who are engaged.
Yep.
And I've done sales over the years and everything like that, and I used to tell the salespeople that work for me when we would go to a show, you know, you'd have the really successful salespeople at a show, and you have the ones that stood there and basically got no business. And I would say, you know, what's the difference? And finally, it occurred to me that the people who are successful in this business are the one who engage with the association and with their potential clients in advance. And when they get to the show, it's not a fishing derby. They're just there to visit with the people they've already contacted, they've already worked with. So what Connex provides you the ability to do is, we have an online directory of all of our retailers right now primarily, but also healthcare companies that we were going to have, and entertainment companies will be on there.
Yep.
Actual contact information to reach those people, which you can't get anywhere else. We have an online suppliers buyer's guide, where it's not just a directory of company names. You can go on there, and some of our suppliers have actually built out entire mini websites. So you can see the exact person you need to contact, exactly what they do, the territories they serve, and what they do. And I, you know, that's the secret to being successful as a Connex member, is don't just join and sit and wait for the fish to come jump in the boat. That's not going to happen.
Yep.
But the two main ways you can be successful in Connex is to engage, is to come to our events and participate on committees and get on one of those, and actually engage with the other members, share your knowledge, share your experience. That's what they're looking for. That's why we're called Connex. We're going to connect you with a person who needs what you know. And there's somebody out there who needs the information that you have.
Yeah.
And that's what we're the conduit for. And we do that through our publications. We have our resources and education, white papers, best practices, and things like that, and through our events. So you come to those and participate in those and actually get involved, you will see a definite benefit from being in Connex.
Awesome. That's excellent. And then finally, do you want to kind of just give a little plug about your nonprofit group?
Yes. Actually, I was fortunate enough to be one of the original people here at Prism. When we launched the charity, it was called the Prism Charity.
Yep.
And that started about 3 or 4 years ago, myself and Bill Ackerman, who's a very, very engaged member. And we kind of kicked it all off and got it going. We did some smaller projects, doing some rehab on a drug treatment center here in Dallas, and did that. And now since then, we've helped refurb, like we did a hotel up in Denver, where it's mainly took care of people who were trying to get them off the streets, get them where they could actually get into an apartment or something like that. We also have an educational side of our foundation. We are an official 501c3.
Okay.
So anything that you donate to the Prism Foundation is a Connex Foundation. Now I keep changing my name here. Connex Foundation is tax deductible. And we're going to create a scholarship program where we can actually get young people involved in the organization, give them discounts for attending conferences and things like that. And then we're going to start an apprenticeship program, something you and I didn't have a chance to talk about. But the other big challenge a lot of you people are facing out there with suppliers is the big gap in the number of skilled trades people who are out there.
Yes.
And the kids that are actually getting into it, because there's a huge mountain of difference between here we are with the supply and here's the demand.
Yeah.
And to kind of summarize that up right quick, I heard a gentleman when I went to a meeting in Philly, our local Connex meeting we had up there. He said, do you know that the brand new licensed electrician in New York City starts out at $60 an hour?
Wow. That's a good start.
Yeah, and he says, tell me some other 4-year college degree that starts at $60 an hour.
Not very many, if any at all.
Yeah. So I think there's huge opportunities out there, and we're going to do a big issue on this in our March, April magazine on the skills gap. And if anybody of your listeners has any solutions that they're using that's actually working to solve that problem, we'd be happy to promote that. But the foundation is involved in that as well. And our foundation is growing every day. We now have a fundraising committee, a charity committee, an educational committee. So we're going to get that rolling, and it's another opportunity for our members to engage.
Awesome. Hey, Bruce, I really appreciate all the insight in the future of Connex. I don't actually want to cut this because this is a great conversation. I think you added a lot of value to not just facility managers or property managers, but just to like vendors and trades out there as well too. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this. And again, our guest here was Bruce Condit. He was the VP of Communications, Public Affairs, and Marketing for Connex. And so if you guys are more interested in learning about Connex, feel free to either, I'll be tagging Bruce to some of these videos that we post now, but you could also reach out to Bruce for any kind of more information, or just go to their website like he mentioned, which is, I believe, connexfm.com. Thanks again, Bruce, for your time.